Welcome back, Megan. We were off last week.
Oh, yes, we were, and I loved every minute of it.
All right, we got a lot of good things to talk about today. You want to run it down?
Well, I want to talk about hypocrisy in our country.
Yeah.
I want to talk about, I don't
The Super
remember.
Bowl halftime.
Oh, yeah, Super Bowl halftime with Bad Bunny.
Right. Trump is in Davos this week.
Uh-huh. Oh, I thought we weren't talking about that today.
Oh, maybe we will.
Ah,
Maybe we won't. We saw some interesting stuff about some of the COVID studies.
oh, yes, that was very interesting.
Yeah, we talked about, we got some things to talk about with the protesters in Minnesota and around the country. And then we wanted to talk about the movie we watched on the plane back and forth vacation last week, Aladdin.
I noticed something very, very sneaky.
Yeah. All right, well, why don't you start us off? Let's talk about your hypocrisy thoughts.
I am so tired of the hypocrisy.
Let's hear it.
Well, it's like last week, I see that, obviously Renee Good, unfortunately, passed away during the ISIS incident. However, I see all these people raging mad that this is a life. It doesn't, even if she did something wrong, they shouldn't have killed her, and it's a life that should be respected. But then the second they post that the ICE agent has internal bleeding, it's his period, and oh, did he die yet? Like, dude, I can't take you seriously when you're talking like, let's kumbaya and be nice to a human being, whether or not they did something right or wrong. They're a human being that's a mom, but yet at the other side of your mouth, you're saying, oh, who gives a crap about this ICE agent? He has internal bleeding. Is he dead yet? Like, I can't take you seriously.
No, and it's frustrating because you can't have, on the one hand, people saying that life is more important than anything else, and then on the other side saying at the same time, this guy should die.
No,
You got to be consistent
it's
about
absolutely crazy. And then you have all these protesters in Minneapolis, and they're literally sticking up for, yes, they believe only illegals that are the 5-year-old that the story's blowing up. Like, ICE used him as bait, which I'm still trying to figure out what happened in that situation. I feel like I doubt that was the case. However, I don't have the full story on that, and I don't like to speak on things that I don't know about fully. However, they want to protect people that came across our border illegally. They're protecting child predators. They're protecting criminals, but yet we have veterans that are on the street with no help whatsoever, that are suicidal from going on in these wars, but yet they're going to protect criminals. It's like, do they even know what they're doing? And the hypocrisy is crazy. Go and use your rights to protest, but then poop on the same rights and yell that you don't like that we have a Hitler type person that creates rules.
Yeah, that's something that caught me, that was really frustrating, is them saying our rights are being taken away. All American citizens' rights are being stripped away. And they're saying that with their protest signs as they're marching, saying we don't have rights. And logically, when you think about it, when you break it down, it's your rights that are letting you do that are letting you say that.
Yes.
And those rights are not changing. They're not going away. Rights are not going away. What ICE is doing is they're enforcing the law, and they have warrants for arrest.
And if you don't like that law, yes, you can protest. Yes, you can do things to change things. I was talking today, one of my posts is about Bad Bunny, which I don't even know what Bad Bunny plays. Maybe I do. The kids are always like, Mom, you know that song. But like, he's going to be talking about the LGBTQ community at the Super Bowl. Okay, let him. This is America. I mean, yes, there are certain things that we don't agree with. Having a drag go into a grade school and talk about being in drag and promoting all that, but if it's allowed, then you go to your school and say, let's change the rules. But I'm sick of the hypocrisy and one side or the other side saying this shouldn't be allowed. If you're in America, and you want it to be free, like we talk about, we should say, thank God he can talk about the LGBTQ community.
See, but that's hard. That's hard for people, particularly Christian conservatives, people who,
which I am.
yeah, but people who do not agree with the gay and lesbian and the other litany of letters that are attached to that, with that lifestyle and with promoting that lifestyle and having that in our face and really presenting that as more than the minority that it is.
Okay, but don't those same people, the LGBTQ or gay people, feel offended that we call what they do a sin?
Yeah, and it's interesting because you just brought this up. You saw that post that somebody made recently about going to church here in town, the large church CCV, and it was a gay couple.
Yeah, and she was talking about that they're teaching about Genesis and they're teaching about the rainbow. And the pastor spoke about how the gays have kind of hijacked that rainbow, and she was offended. Well, I'm this type of person where I say, if you're going to be somewhere, understand where you're stepping into. I mean, I'm not going to step into an all-man's gym and then argue and say, I should be allowed in here. If that's the way that they want to do that, then that's the way they want to do that. It's when we think it's good for me, but not for you. You know, it's like, aren't you going to then make Christians uncomfortable that they're following the Bible, and in the way they read the Bible is gay is a sin? You don't have to believe that living in America. You don't have to follow that.
Right.
But there's going to be places where if I walk into a all gay center and they're doing yoga and I'm like, yoga's a sin, this is awful, they'd kick me out immediately.
Totally.
America has places for everybody, and that's the way it should be. And we should respect, hey, this is what you're believing and this is what you're doing. If you're not hurting anybody, I will have to respect that. That's what America is. We're a melting pot of people. And the second we start to say, you're not welcome here because of your religion, because of your skin color, because of your
sexual
you have to understand where you're at. Yes, CCV, sorry, is going to talk about the Bible. I mean, that's where you're at. And so if you want to be there, like, for instance, I'm going to take this in a completely different direction, but it's not. Our son Jack is very interested in learning about all the different types of denominations. And he's considering becoming a priest, but he does not want to become a priest with the Catholic Church because there's certain things within the Catholic Church that you have to absolutely believe. You have to believe that Mary gave birth to Jesus supernaturally. Like, she was impregnated by the Holy Spirit and Jesus somehow came through her skin.
Right. So I get the virgin pregnancy that God impregnated her, but Catholics believe that it's not just that, but the birth itself was not vaginal.
Correct. And is Jack going to go to the Catholic Church and protest and be like, you make me feel terrible because I don't believe it? No, he can look at other options. And that's where America, I think, is getting caught up with itself. Instead of focusing on what you love and embracing that and finding other like-minded people to enjoy that with you while respecting other people that think differently than you, we're so hard up on having to change everybody's opinion to make you comfortable everywhere you go.
Well, and I love that you're bringing this up because for so long, it seems like in the last several years, particularly with the prior administration, conservatives were sitting back and saying, this isn't right. We're having all these things being imposed on us, and we are having our rights trampled on to be able to practice our religion the way we want, to be able to talk the way we want, to be able to gather the way we want. And now it's flipped, and somebody comes out for the Super Bowl halftime show, and it's conservatives that are being upset about that and saying we shouldn't let this person do this. And it's really no different. It's the opposite side of the same coin, where we say, they shouldn't have, the halftime show that's X. and now it's Y. It's just, it's two
But
sides
what's
of the
so
same thing.
hypocritical to me is if you look at studies, it is the most sex trafficked day in the year. And so it's okay to have a sex trafficking day. It's okay for those guys that are playing football to go and have an orgy after or go have sex after, but it's not okay to talk about gay sex.
Right.
I mean, I just, it's hypocritical, and it's not a church service. Bad Bunny's not a pastor. I mean, we're talking football and everyone's going, but it's an American thing. Yeah. And all these guys are not being non-sinful. I mean,
Right.
Women are exploited. You have the cheerleaders, and I'm not saying that I'm against all of that. What I'm saying is the second you draw a solid line saying this is where I'm at, that's the country your ancestors left, forcing everybody to be a certain way. We purposely came to America to fight for the freedom of having a melting pot of people. And this pendulum that we're seeing here, where the left came up and balanced, I'm sure, things that the right did wrong. And now we're balancing out the left. That's how democracy works. But people don't like to be uncomfortable.
Right.
They don't like what they don't like. And it's like, we're all human beings. And yes, you're going to feel uncomfortable if it's not something you align with.
Yeah, this is exactly the same thing as the protesters that we were just talking about a few minutes ago. The exact rights that they are protesting are the rights that are giving them the opportunity to protest. The exact rights that people are complaining of for a Super Bowl halftime show are the exact rights that are allowing them to put on that halftime show.
Exactly. It's so hypocritical. It makes me feel like I'm talking to brainwashed people. Like, I'm not literally going, wake up. Wake up. What you're arguing about is exactly what you complain about.
So what's the solution then for people who say, because you've already posted this on Facebook and somebody instantly responded and said, I don't support that. I don't like the NFL for this. I don't like that they allow the players to kneel for the flag. What's your solution to those people? Because we've got a lot of more Christian conservative people that are tuning in here. What's the answer for them?
I appreciate that, and I understand that feeling.
But that's not enough for them. What else? What are they going to do when this Super Bowl halftime show comes on?
They're going to watch TPUSA and they're going to move on with their life.
That simple. Just that simple. Just change the channel.
Yeah.
Tune into something else.
And it's okay. It's uncomfortability is okay. For you to be uncomfortable, it's okay. But you know what? If something is super uncomfortable and you can see where something can be changed, go out and change it in a respectful, kind way. Try to figure out how to change that.
Yeah, we just went and saw Father Mike Schmitz.
Yeah.
Just the other night. And he was talking about that, how God didn't plan for everything to be comfortable. He plans for things to be uncomfortable because it's provoking you to change. It's provoking you to look at things differently. It's important to have that discomfort.
Yes. How many times are we going to literally go and get a job if someone's giving us $1 million a year?
No.
I mean, I think I'd get bored. I definitely couldn't just be sitting there every day. I'd be like, what is happening? But that's what provokes you. It's that uncomfortability. I mean, you call me Sandy a lot.
Yeah.
I'm very much that person that I believe in people, but I also will kind of make things uncomfortable to say, hey, let's go. Let's, why do I keep clapping today?
I don't know.
What is the clap?
I don't know. It's a good clap.
Was that racist?
No. No, but you know what? You've taken a lot of criticism here recently for your stance on equality and neutrality, really, where you're saying don't be so one-sided that everything that your side thinks has to be right and the other side has to be wrong. You've got to look at it with a balance. You've criticized some things with Trump recently. You've criticized some things with the conservative movement, and you've taken a lot of pot shots from that. You've taken a lot of criticism, but really what you're speaking out against is blind, one-sided loyalty without looking at it from the perspective that we're talking about right here.
Well, it's hard to bring conversations together. And in the end, like for myself, the way my heart works, I look at a human being. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what race you are. I don't care what religion you are. My heart sees a soul. My heart sees this beautiful little baby in my mind. I don't care how old you are. You were born a beautiful being that God created you to be. And what you were taught or what people are teaching you, some of it good, some of it bad. But when I see a person yelling, I see someone that's never been heard. I see someone that's maybe feeling forgotten. And I know that I don't have the answers for everything, but I do know that I see everybody's heart. I see their heart, and they're not wanting to hate other people. They're just taught that that's what they have to do to protect themselves, to protect their family. And I think that's why I can see how to try and like I can get in deeper with my heart with people, because I don't see them as what they always say. I don't see them as understanding what's going on. And we can't bridge that without real conversation. And so if you're just a parrot and you're just repeating things that you were taught, or you're just like, for myself, I remember years ago, I was walking Jack, he was a baby. And I remember thinking, heaven is above us. And then I thought, what? Why did you say that? And I was like, well, because someone told me that. And unless you decide to go down a journey yourself and actually unravel your beliefs and understand where they're coming from, like, I might not know where someone else is coming from unless you teach me. I want to understand where you're coming from. I want to understand what your life has been like. You know what? Maybe I'd understand you better in your view if I understood where your life was coming from. You'd maybe understand me better if you actually took the time to put down all of the things that you're guarding yourself from understanding and saying, I'm going to listen to her for a minute.
It's hard to do. That's hard to emotionally let go. And you've done a great job of modeling that for Jack, for instance, who with his interest in religion and faith has deconstructed his religious beliefs multiple times over. He's torn it down and gone to the very bottom of, why do I believe this? What if that's wrong? And so what you're talking about is something that, yeah, people wrap themselves in the emotion of those belief systems, that's their identity. And so it's very, very hard to do exactly that, to remove those, the safety net and say, well, what am I if I don't believe that?
Well, it also, you can get caught up into what society is talking about. And like right now, a big thing on TikTok is Black people saying that white people walk past them and do this. I do that to everybody. I mean, I don't care if you're Black, white, red. I don't care who you are. I smile at people with that smile. And it honestly is making me feel paranoid, because if I walk past someone that's Black, I feel bad if I do that smile, because I don't want them to think that I'm racist. Isn't that weird?
Is this really a thing, or
Yes!
is this just...
Everybody can just be smiling and being normal. And like, I don't know. It just makes me feel really bad that growing up in Chicago, like growing up around Black and white people constantly, that now I'm 52 years old and I feel paranoid if I should be smiling at someone.
But it's common courtessy. I mean, this is what
they're saying. They're saying we're not allowed to do that.
But what else are you supposed to do? It's a nonverbal signal to somebody who's a complete stranger that, hey, we can all be alive and friendly and just pass.
But my point is, it's becoming so viral that it is affecting the way people want to act, because they're thinking that white people are now thinking it's racist to give a smile like that to Black people, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I still smile, but I can't tell you. This is the way, and it's not even about that. It's about alienating people from each other, and it's mocking habits of certain, like we go to Poland and nobody smiles, right? Like
right.
You go to other countries and
that's their culture.
They call it an American smile, right? Or the
Polish smile, right?
Where you don't smile at all. But this is what creates distance between people, and it's sad, because it's probably 2% of people on TikTok that are representing the Black community saying that white people are doing that. And so, but it's all over. It's like, please don't do that, because I want to be able to smile at you and not feel that I'm doing something again. Like last night we had a friend over and he says he's very particular about what he eats.
Right.
So what did I do? I didn't have any snacks when we're hanging out because I'm like, I don't want to offend you to make you feel like you have to eat this. I'm always very careful about wanting to make sure people understand that, like, I respect you. And
Right.
I think with this country, we create issues that didn't need to exist in the first place.
No, and I think
why is it so bad that I'm smiling at you?
I think that's what this smile thing is all about. It's a show of friendliness. It's a show of respect. It's a show of, hey, we're just two people passing, by. We're all in this together. I don't get that. That's frustrating to me.
No, but it's just another thing
Yeah.
to add to the list where you're like, would you just stop that?
Right. Right.
And white people are posting about it too. They're
Seriously?
like, yes. Yes.
No, that's all new to me. I didn't know about that.
Well, you're not on TikTok.
Yeah, no. I
will forever smile at everybody. I'm just letting everybody know.
I think you should.
I love everybody. I want to smile at. I don't love I don't like rapists. I mean, that sounds really anti-Christian, but I don't like hurting children. That's like one of my big things that I can't.
Totally
I
agree.
can't. In my heart, I cannot wrap my head around child trafficking or hurting children. I can't. I just
Totally agree.
I should, like, I really have to pray for those
And
people
if
because
and
I
if
can't.
ICE gets a warrant for the arrest of an illegal who has hurt somebody, or particularly children, they should arrest them. That's what the warrants are for. And it's not just stealing citizens off the streets and taking away their rights.
No, it's absolutely ridiculous.
I wanted to back up because when you were explaining one of the things just a couple of minutes ago, you talked about the yelling and the emotion. And it seems like there's so much of that people are getting so emotional online with some of the things that you've shown me. And it's hard to boil it down and get to the logic and the facts of what's happening when these people are so upset.
Okay, so this is what I think. I think that they feel unheard. Here you have a person, in my opinion, many of these people that are yelling look like they've been not heard from. They have nose rings, they have purple, pink hair. Does that really matter? No. But there is, I don't know how to put this.
It's a symptom of,
there is a, they'll say conservative white women look all alike. They got
Right.
blonde hair. They do this, they do that, whatever. But far left liberal leaning people are typically these white women that are a lot of times lesbians. Should I be saying this?
I don't know. I mean, I think there's definitely
They're
that
very
segment of the
angry
population.
people.
Sure.
And I'm not saying, and this is where I'm coming from. I'm not saying I lived their life. I'm not saying that they didn't have a horrible life. I'm not saying that at all. But I find it very difficult to be giving you space in my heart when you're saying F you and you're yelling and you're not bringing up facts and you're just like, this is terrible and Trump is a racist and Trump is a misogynist, blah, 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 blah. Okay, but what do you need from me right now? I need you to hate Trump. But okay, but what do you need from me right now? Like, what do you need from me right now? Do you need me to help you what? What do you need? Do you need me to help you get a job? Do you need me let's talk about practical situations where I can help you right now.
It's frustrating because those videos online of people going up and wanting to talk to the protesters and confronting them with, okay, well, explain to me, give me the logical thoughts that you're having. And there's no logic there. It's just anger. It's just emotion. And then when you actually confront them with, all right, what are the logical facts that you have behind that emotion? They say, I can't talk to you. And they walk away.
Because it's an emotional person. And this is where I was also talking about this the other day. Conservatives are very much action orientated. Is that
Mhm.
right? And a lot of liberals that I met are more emotional. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying there's a balance.
And
yes.
You're also not saying it's 100% that way, one
I'm
way
saying,
or the other.
But a lot of it is more, I'm not supported. I'm not appreciated. I'm very emotional about what's happened to me. I've had emotional stuff happen to me. I completely get that. But at the end of the day, we can't just rely on emotions for things. When you're emotional and you're needing a hospital to maybe give you anti-anxiety meds, you expect that hospital to be open. So you're relying on the people that are responsibly coming into work every day, the people that are showing up even if they don't feel like it.
Right.
So you have to appreciate that. As much as you maybe say, I don't care, you do care. You
Right.
do care. You do care. And what I was trying to talk about the other day was, if everybody was just living by their emotions, nothing would ever get done. I know I wouldn't. I mean, with perimenopause, man, I'm emotional more than I've ever been. I get depressed, I get anxious, and I feel like I can't do things a lot.
Yeah, your example was great the other day about the pilot. If a pilot showed up and the whole airline is waiting for the flight to take off, you got a meeting you got to get to, you got family you got to see, you got a holiday, whatever it is, and the pilot just went off of emotion and said, you know what, I'm having an emotional day. I can't fly today.
Yes, you do. You need to. I'm emotional, more emotional now.
Right.
You have to fly. And I'm not mocking people. Like, I get it. I've had an emotional life. I'm also a woman, so I feel things probably more than men, and I obviously can't prove that completely. But
I have no opinion on that whatsoever.
thank God. Just kidding. You can have opinions. But I mean, going back to the hypocrisy thing and going back to all this, I appreciate people speaking up when they feel unheard, and I'm not, mocking these people. I get that that's how they feel, that they have to communicate to try and get people to hear them. But as who I am, I don't see that as productive communication.
No.
I don't want to just label myself as a conservative business owner. However I believe, how I grew up, I don't find that to be constructive. And I don't find that you are going to get people to actually listen to that.
Well, it's hard because for so many years now, our country has swung the pendulum where, there was a time back in the 30s, 40s, 50s where it was
I know
not
you were
about,
alive back then. I was not. I'm much younger.
far
than
from
you.
it. Thank you very
I'm
much.
much younger.
But it was, no interest in anybody's emotions at all. And we swung the pendulum to where everybody's emotions have to be validated. And it feels like it's gone too far that direction. And there's got to be a happy middle ground.
Yes. It's like you're talking about everyone getting an award.
Yeah.
Everyone. Yeah. I remember being younger, and of course I remember my life. Anyways, I was on a water ski team when I was younger. I was on a water ski team growing up, and you didn't get to go out and do pyramid or go and do ballet line unless you were actually good. But you know what that did? It got me to go outside and ski every day. And it got me excited to try the trick over and over and over and over again. And then I finally did it. And I was able to go out there and do it. And it's very rewarding. I mean, I think we've talked about this before. Have you guys ever played those online games? And, at the time I was playing them, I remember I was super broke. This is when I was going through a divorce with Jack, and I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. It was like
the farm one where you built the farm.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. I had no business buying any coins ahead of time. But if you're playing a game and you have all the money in the world to just constantly build your farm, you literally within a day, you're like, well, this is boring. And you go on to another game. Because guess what? You're getting everything you want at the moment. I don't know where we started with this. See?
No, that's great. And I was going to give you a movie
What's
quote.
Happening?
I was going to give you a movie quote from a movie quote from a movie back in the 80s, Wall Street, and it was starring Michael Douglas. And his quote was, this guy was a corporate raider, and he would go in and buy up stock. He was a billionaire, would buy up stocks for a company, and take over the company and then sell it off and make a ton of money himself. And so he was the villain. He was a bad character in this movie, but he gave this speech at this shareholders meeting where he stood up and he's trying to convince the shareholders to side with him. And he said, greed, for lack of a better word, is a good thing. And while I don't agree with the greed part of it, his sentiment was, if you are uncomfortable enough to be competitive, it pushes you. It pushes you to succeed, excel, reach for something, strive for something. And that's what he meant by the greed. It wasn't just, oh, give me all the money in the world, but it was if you are willing and desirous enough to seek something out, you can excel. And he was using the term greed for that. And that's exactly what you're talking about with the awards for every kid that plays soccer, or motivating you to do better on the ski team.
They're uncomfortable. They don't feel like it. It's too hard. It's like we've become this like
soft
country.
Yeah. I agree. I wanted to touch on something going back to
You're so handsome.
Thanks.
I always love sitting here and watching.
I know. You're fun too. All right. That was uncomfortable. Okay.
What? How rude. Saying it's uncomfortable to say I'm fun.
No, you're fun. It was uncomfortable you turning the attention to me. But anyway, I wanted to go back and talk about something with the protesters, because there were a few of the videos that you saw me. And again, it's the people that are very emotional and screaming and shouting and all that. But the one guy in particular was saying that he was protesting, and I don't think this guy gave the full story because he had to have done something else. He jumped in somebody's car, and he was saying that he got arrested and he was put in a holding tank with a bunch of other people that got arrested. So clearly they're doing things that cross the line, because protesting doesn't get you arrested. If it's illegal protesting, or if you do something else illegal, you get arrested for that. But his big complaint was, we were all there. None of us got to talk to a lawyer. None of us got our Miranda rights read. And I feel like I have to address that, because that's not the law. That's not what the law says.
What does the law say?
So just because you're arrested doesn't mean you get your Miranda rights read. It does not. And that's a big misconception. Hollywood has it wrong. Hollywood says somebody gets arrested, they get their Miranda rights read. And if you don't get your Miranda rights read, that it's an illegal arrest. And that's not true. There are two conditions, absolutely two conditions that you have to have that require Miranda rights. Custodial interrogation.
What is that?
Means you are taken into custody. You are not free to leave. Custodial. And then the second one is interrogation, where you are being asked questions. So you have to have both of those together. Get this. If you're free to go at any time and an officer, a law enforcement officer is asking you questions, that's not custodial interrogation. You don't get your Miranda rights read. If you are taken into custody, but you're not being questioned, you don't get your Miranda rights read.
So smart.
You have to have custodial interrogation. And the other thing is the right to a lawyer. Just because you're arrested, you don't get the right to a lawyer right then. If you're going to be questioned in custody, if you're going to be custodial interrogated, you have the right to a lawyer for that.
Well, I would just like to say, if I ever need an attorney, I want it to be you. And if I ever need a pat down, I want it to be you. You're blushing.
That can be arranged. So we were talking about something else recently that we had heard online, and it was really, really interesting. Actually, I think it was on the Joe Rogan podcast. He had somebody on who had done some
hold on, my hair is sticking up right here. Okay.
He had done some statistics, or he had looked into some stories about COVID that I thought was so interesting. And it was also based in law, which is, I guess, one of the reasons I found it so interesting. But there was an unofficial scientific study. So when people were hospitalized with COVID during the whole pandemic, there were certain people who were insisting on being treated with ivermectin. Mm-hmm. And this one particular study looked at 80 lawsuits that were filed against hospitals, people wanting to have ivermectin administered. And of those 80 lawsuits, 40 of them, the court granted the ivermectin, and 40 of them, the court said, no ivermectin. And these are obviously all different courts all around the nation. So it's not just one court because that's inconsistent.
And 38 of the ones that were given ivermectin survived. 2 died.
Right.
And 40 that were not given the ivermectin passed away, sadly.
Yeah. Which I thought was a tremendous statistic. Again, it's not a scientific peer-reviewed study, but I mean, those numbers are really, really hard to argue against.
Yeah. And we actually, during COVID, we got a phone number and we called it, and it was a doctor, and he said, I'm with the White Hats. Is it that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he goes, so I work for America with the White Hats, and we're trying to save as many people as we can. And he wrote us a prescription for ivermectin.
Yeah.
And when we got COVID, we took ivermectin. We actually gave it to a friend who was deathly ill. His oxygen level was in the 80s.
Yeah,
and
very dangerous.
He started taking it. And by day 3, he said he felt like a new man.
Right.
And the nurse across the street told him to stop taking it.
Yeah.
And then he got bad again and he went to the hospital. But I swear, I think it saved his life.
Yeah. I can't get over that. I mean, we've always thought this, suspected this, known this about the treatment with ivermectin, but it was just really, really stark to have those numbers come out that somebody's actually put together. I love
and
that
there's
statistic.
so many more studies currently
that
they talk about helping with cancer and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we saw something else that was really, really cool online that, again, it depends on how conspiratorial you want to get. We've talked about.
I love it.
Some of that stuff.
I love all conspiracies.
It's so interesting. But this one caught me by surprise because I never thought about that either. And it's about the nuclear tests from the 50s and the cameras.
Gosh,
you remember that?
Yes. You see it. It's like a sepia color, almost like a brownish color.
Yeah.
And the nuclear weapon goes off. And
it's
see the
this
bomb.
huge shockwave that goes through the house and tears it apart.
Yes, and you see the camera, and they're like, what happened to the camera? And then all of a sudden there's a car there, and then there's no car there. Like, it was so fake.
Yeah, well, because think about this. Again, going back to our traveling last week, going through the airport, and there's big signs.
We went
still
to Jackson Hole last week.
Yeah, there's still signs to this day that said, don't take your film, old-fashioned film, through the X-ray machine because it'll damage it. So an X-ray machine with regular film will get destroyed, but a camera watching a nuclear weapon go off would be fine and stay stationary while this huge radioactive shockwave comes through. Really surprising. And yeah, then the one with the no car, and it looked kind of like a model car parked behind this house.
It was so fake.
It was not there. Then just before the shockwave hits, suddenly there's a car there, and the shockwave hits and it goes tumbling. And it just reeks of publicity, manipulation.
But what? Okay, so let's do that. Manipulation. For what? To make us scared? I mean, as a kid, I remember going under our desks. Yeah. Because we were afraid. Does that mean nuclear weapons don't exist? Or what? I mean, is that why? I mean, maybe they knew it was a fake video and then they're like, oh, that looks really good. We're just going to play it off as real.
I think, honestly, that had to have been sort of filmed and produced and sent out for purposes of the Cold War.
I know, but like, come on.
But
there's
I think
so many things that, like, even with like the moon landing and how fake that seems, the videos, it's like, then you want people to say, no, like everything the government does is honest. But then you watch these things and you're like, come on. Well,
so that's where the balance comes in that we're always talking about. And I think with the Cold War, it was purposefully done to promote against the Eastern Bloc countries, USSR and all that, so that they would be mindful and worried about the technology and the weapons that we have. But it was obviously fake, the videos, but nobody knew that. And still to this day, I mean, I've seen those videos hundreds of times in my life, and I've never once thought, "Oh, those look fake."
But isn't that
now
weird
that somebody said it,
that we don't question that?
Right.
And we're like, yeah.
Well,
okay.
We should. We absolutely should.
But not yelling and screaming and
sort of like Trump talking about the weapons that were used
Yep.
in Venezuela, which I think it could be a little bit of that, just saying it. B, there's also some weapons that we have that are really tremendous weapons that didn't allow the Venezuelans to even get off a shot at
No,
our.
and do you think any of that has to do with how well Trump is doing in Davos?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so that's what I mean. He's using the things that have already been publicized that we know about. And he's also talking about the things that people don't know about. How much of that's true or not, we don't know. I mean, there's always secrets that the government has, but I think it's brilliant to use it like that. And I think he's a great negotiator. And I think everything he's done with Venezuela and Greenland, which I was initially against the Venezuela thing, but in looking at it, I think he's a brilliant negotiator, and that's what's been going on. Everything's a negotiation for him.
Yeah, he's always 10 steps ahead.
I mean, think about it. His entire career, he's bought and sold property.
Yeah, America's property.
It's kind of what he's doing with Greenland.
Yep.
And is he using a little bit of muscle? Is he using a little bit of bluff? Absolutely. Whatever gets the job done. But when you boil it down to, and we talked to Jeff a couple of weeks ago, Jeff Smith on the podcast,
Yeah.
About the need for security for the United States and the Western Hemisphere. And I think that's smart, because I think from everything that we know, if we don't have some semblance of control and presence in Greenland, then somebody else who's opposed to us will.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, that would corner us in.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a national security issue. So I think he's doing a brilliant job at Davos with all of that. And I love the fact that you showed me that video where every other leader in the entire world essentially was waiting to shake his hand. And I think that really speaks to not only the strength of him as our leader, but the strength and respect of the United States now, which is so important.
And what's funny is all of these people that are like hating on Trump, and they're like, no kings, but yet they're defending all these other countries to say that Trump's embarrassing where they do have kings.
Right. Right. And again, if we had a king, you wouldn't be able to protest the king. The king would have
you wouldn't be having
arrested.
Bad Bunny talking about LGBTQ at
right,
Super Bowl
exactly.
if Trump is against that.
Ties right back into what we were saying about the very rights that you are protesting are giving you the ability to protest.
You know, I love America. I mean, as much as we can have crappy things happen and 5% of the people ruin it for 95% of the other people, I think I honestly, I have not met a lot of really, people always say, oh, there's so much anti-Semitism right now. You don't feel that.
No.
And you're raised Jewish, and you're Christian. I don't know. Are you Jewish, Christian? But you don't feel that.
No.
And it's not in your face. And it's like all of these things that people make so dramatic online, I believe most people go out and have a pretty normal day.
So much of what's happening right
Okay, hold
now,
on. I'd like to say something really quickly.
Please do.
Do you know who I have the most issues with? And I'm not even joking. Not joking.
Who?
These men that drive these lifted trucks that cut me off. And then they can have these big flags. It's always some country bumpkin who cuts me off. And then I honk to remind them I'm here and you're about to hit me. And then they go off and they try to cut me off more.
You can't honk at people anymore when they've done something wrong.
No, but yesterday,
yeah,
this person, I'm on 55th Avenue, and they pull up right next to me, lifted truck. And I'm like, dude, you're going to hit me. This is not a 2-lane road. So I'm honking because he's not letting me get over because I'm making a right. And that guy, literally, I had to go a different way because he was going to run me off the road. And I've experienced that with other guys. Like
the person with the bigger emotion is the quote unquote right one.
Yes.
And that's what it is. And so often in recent history too, it's you call somebody out for doing something wrong. And the villain in this situation is not the person who did something wrong. It's the person who called out the wrongdoer. How dare you? How dare you say that? How dare you categorize somebody as doing something wrong? It's the same
Right.
emotions that we've been
and
talking
then you
about.
end up going, okay, the more emotional person, we all have to have an adult in the room.
Right.
We can't have a temper tantrum.
Right.
And that's what they're having. They're having temper tantrums on the road.
Right.
I get it. You might have a bad day. I get it. You know, you give grace and you're like, I'm giving grace. I'm giving grace. I'm giving grace until I'm greasy with grace. A greasy grace constantly. It's like, oh my gosh, stop. Control your emotions a little bit. Yes, I get it. It comes from when you were a child and you weren't listened. I wasn't listened to. I was a middle child. I was, oh, you should feel bad for me.
Right.
I'm a victim. I am a victim of circumstance being popped out second in line.
You can have the emotion, but you've got to keep it in check.
You have to keep it in check because otherwise other people have to be the adults and we're like, come on now.
Yeah. And what that does is it sets up that wrong now becomes right.
Right.
And that reminds us of the movie that we just watched on the plane.
Yes. It was Aladdin, and I pointed this out.
This is the live action version of Aladdin with Will Smith.
So Aladdin is with Princess Jasmine, and Princess Jasmine said, basically they're stealing.
Right. So this is the very beginning of the movie.
Beginning.
When Princess Jasmine is out in the streets to see the people.
Yes. And she's basically stealing bread from a worker. And she goes, but look at these poor children. They haven't eaten. Okay, but why does that make it okay for you to steal from him? How do you know he hasn't already given away 20 loaves? Like, it made it feel like the sake of stealing and the emotion behind it, because what is wrong should be right and what is right should be wrong. It makes you feel like stealing for a good reason is okay to steal.
It's romanticized.
Yes.
It's absolutely romanticized that she's the hero or the heroine. She's the one that's helping people. And so she's stealing and giving it to the kids. And the guy who's selling the bread is trying to earn a living, probably to support his family. And so as that bread gets stolen from him, the heroine is the one that's revered as doing the right thing and helping people. And this poor guy says, don't steal from me. And he's the villain.
Right. It's messed up. It's, yes, granted, corporate America can be awful. There can be people that are awful, but we have to remember 5% of the people make 95% look bad.
Yeah.
And 95% of people are just trying to earn a living. They're just trying to do what's right and within the laws. And how do you know what they have or haven't done for their community?
Totally.
Because then it's like, well, why aren't you telling everybody? Well, the Bible says you should do it
and
without putting your name on it.
Yeah, don't parade it around.
So how do you know what they're giving or aren't giving?
Right.
You know, and it romanticizes. You know, a lot of movies also romanticize cheating.
No, but Hollywood does this. They flip the script all the time, and they do it for effect in their movies, but it's a common go-to for them is to make the law and order and logical the villain and in the wrong, and the ones that's acting on emotion is the right one. And it plays into what we're seeing in society now.
Ask guys that are like these guys, like, you know, we've even talked to Matt, or being, you know, promiscuous or ruining your marriages. I mean, I'm sure it ends with that girl that you're deciding to be horny about.
Right.
Your emotions don't tell you if 2 days later you go to the gym and there's a girl in front of you. I mean, like, how many women, if you didn't control, if women or men, I'm not just saying just men, if you don't control your emotions, you probably will be a hussy.
Or a husky. I mean,
just a gigolo everywhere I go. You're going to be a gigolo or a hussy. I mean, we have to control our emotions, or you're going to have 40,000 massages and, you know, you're like, we have to control our emotions.
We're more than just animalistic. We have to be. The logic and reason and self-control.
So if you followed your emotions every day, we'd be lazy, having sex, shopping, and gambling.
Right.
And getting super fat every single day. Just
Totally.
gluttonous. Isn't that
Totally.
gluttony?
Yes, it is.
That's gluttony.
It is.
And
It is.
God tells us not to be gluttonous.
So I've got one other movie to tie into that too. I don't know. I'm doing movie things today, but the whole Hollywood flip the script where right is wrong and wrong is right.
That sounds like it should be a song. Right is wrong and wrong is right.
All right. Well,
Right is wrong and wrong is right. Right is wrong and wrong is right. All right. Anyways, go ahead.
the other one that comes to mind.
No, I have not been drinking.
No, the other one that comes to mind that I've thought about a lot through the years is the movie A Few Good Men with Tom Cruise and Jack
You
Nicholson.
just love that because it's an attorney movie.
Yeah, no, I love the movie, but here's the thing. That's one where they flip the script and right is wrong and wrong is right. And what I always say, my thought about that movie is, if you remember it, if you don't, go back and watch it, but Jack Nicholson plays the villain. He's the colonel. He's Colonel Jessup from the Army, and he's down in Guantanamo Bay, and he's in charge of that military base, and he's a real hard ass. And he ends up having to testify, and Tom Cruise is cross-examining him in court, and that's the famous line where he yells, "You can't handle the truth." And he launches into this whole thing about, I'm down there doing a job, and you may not like what I do, you may not like how I do it, but there's a part of you deep down inside where you want me on that line. You need me on that line. And it's because that's his job to do it. And honestly, my statement about that movie is Colonel Jessup had it right. And what they did, he yelled at the very end, all you did was weaken a nation. And he's exactly right, because that movie was flipping the script where Tom Cruise was defending these guys. And it was all based on this feel-good emotion about they were trying to do the right thing and they were trying to help the underdog. And you've got this country that's being defended by this colonel and has a very, very serious job where if he does the wrong thing, people will die. And that's actually one of the lines that he says. He had it right. We have to have that type of person. We have to have those types of laws and rules. We have to have those characters. And he had it right. Colonel Jessup had it right. That's flipping the script like we talked about.
Right. And I'd love to ask people, so you hate Trump, but yet let's say he took away income tax. Would you then say, no, don't take mine away because I can't stand you.
Right.
I'm still going to pay it.
No, exactly.
Or are they going to reap the benefits?
Totally
I'll
reap
reap
the
the benefits, but he still sucks.
Right.
Okay. Well, then don't.
Right. That's what they always say.
It's flipping the script, but then I don't know.
When it comes re-election time or when it comes
hypocrisy.
election time, they always say, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And if you are, then it's pretty clear which direction you should vote.
Yeah, it's a gang mentality.
Yeah, it really is. It's so much ruled by emotion, and it's so much ruled by views and popularity and going viral online.
I want to be viral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's what it all comes down to with so much of that stuff, with that emotion. Got to keep it in check.
Got to keep it in check. That's right. And we have anything else that we were thinking of talking about today?
I think that's all we got.
I hope we did good for you guys.
All right. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, we also are an injury law firm, Gerber Injury Law. So if you or anybody you know needs help with an injury, please get in touch with us. You can find us at gerberinjurylaw.com. Thanks.